Shalom. First, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, HaKadosh. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone from whom I learned this truth. Shalom to the 144,000 elect. I am Mayakala. And this will be called, or I'm going to show some examples of the effects of evil. And I have just a few verses that I want to bring out, so this won't be very long. Just wanted to show a few examples. And the reason I keep kind of going over these kind of lessons, these type of topics, is because of the actions and things that I'm witnessing in people. And one thing in particular that made me think about bringing this lesson out was that I just had a supervisor. It's a brother who just happens to be he's a Muslim, and so I know that he's misled. He got kind of emotional, and I kind of could have did the same thing, gotten emotional also, and kind of lashed out. But me remembering who I am and the knowledge that the Lord has blessed me with the scriptures, tried to stay within myself and stay within the scripture, and I didn't lash out. I didn't get emotional. Just remembering what the scriptures have taught me. So this is why I wanted to bring this out, to show that a lot of tempers are flaring right now, and that a lot of evils are jumping on people because of the things that they're experiencing right now. And first one that I wanted to bring out is in Deuteronomy 32. And I'm going to start at verse 12. It says, and this is the Lord with Moses and the Israelites going through the wilderness. It says, so the Lord Yahweh alone did lead him, and there was no strange power with him. He made him ride on the high places of the earth, that he might eat the increase of the fields, and he made him to suck honey out of the rock, and oil out of the flinty rock, butter of kine, and milk of sheep, with fat of lambs, and rams of bread of Bashan, and goats, with the fat of kidneys of wheat, and thou didst drink the pure blood of the grapes. So the Israelites were having the best of the things in the wilderness that the Lord was providing for them. All right. Verse 15 says, but Jeshurun waxed fat and kicked. Thou art waxen fat, thou art grown thick, thou art covered with fatness. Then he forsook the Most High, which made him, and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation. And I wanted to take a look at that Jeshurun, just to show you that is Israel, or the Israelites, and it is H3484, and I'll give you a pronunciation.
Strong's H3484. Yesharun. Yesharun.
All right, under the biblical usage, it says the upright one. All right. Let's see what the root says. It says to be right, to be straight, be level, be upright, and be just, be lawful, and to be smooth. All right. And even though the Israelites were getting the best that the Lord provided for them, they still, and I want to read in the verse 15 in the NLT, but they still abandoned the Most High, who had provided from them, and turned their own way, going doing evils. All right, in verse 15 in the NLT says, but Israel soon became fat and unruly. So they became unruly, despite the fact that the Most High were providing the best things for them in the wilderness. It says the people grew heavy, plump, and stuffed. Then they abandoned the Most High, who had made them. They made light of the rock of their salvation. So they were not esteeming the Father, all right? They took it lightly and abandoned the Most High, who had provided for them. All right? And I just have a couple more that I want to bring out, and this will be very short. I want to go over to 1 Kings. And you can see a lot of times that was just one example, but a lot of times the people do go their own way, doing their own things. Block here. Go their own way, and then and forget that the Most High provides for them. All right. And I wanted to go to 1 Kings chapter 11. And I'm gonna read verses. I'm gonna start at verse 1, and this is talking about Solomon. You can see the King Solomon. You can see that the heading says King Solomon turns from the Most High. All right. In verse 1 it says, but King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, the Ammonites, the Edomites, the Zidonians, the Hittites, of the nations concerning which the Lord Yahweh said unto him, to the children of Israel, ye shall not go in to them, neither shall they come in unto you, for surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon claimed unto these in love. All right, and that is indeed what Solomon did. Even it shows you that he went in, meaning that he had sex, he had marriage with these other nations, these other women, which was not the sin. What the sin was that he turned to their gods. All right. Verse 3 says, and he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines. So the concubines would have been those women of those other nations. All right, and his wives turned away his heart, meaning his mind turned away his mind from the Most High, turned his mind toward the gods of the other women. All right, verse 4 says, for it came to pass when Solomon was old that his wives had turned away his mind, or his heart, meaning his mind, after other gods, and his heart was not perfect with the Lord Yahweh his power, as was the heart of David his father. All right, and that was what King David's sin was that he allowed those women of those other nations to turn away his mind from Yahweh, and he worshipped and built altars until their gods. That was the sin. That was what he had done wrong. All right. And just a couple more that I wanted to bring out. I'm going to go over to Luke chapter 12. And I've brought this one out before, but I want to bring it out again. And it just shows you that sometimes with emotion, we get involved through the emotion, and it can take your mind away and take your mind off of the Most High, and allow and drive you to sin, drive you to do things that you normally wouldn't do if you were in your right mind and were thinking with a righteous heart. Luke chapter 12, and I'm going to go down to 16. And this is in the red letter, so this is Yahushua speaking. It says, "And he spake a parable unto them, saying, The ground of a certain rich man brought forth plentifully," meaning that he planted well and he harvested well. It says, "And he thought within himself, saying, What shall I do, because I have no room where to bestow my fruits? And he said, This will I do. I will pull down my barns and build greater, and there I will bestow all my fruits and my goods." Verse 19 says, "I will say unto my soul, Soul, thou hast much goods laid up for many years. Take thine ease, eat, drink, and be merry." So you can see that this man, at this point, his mind is not right. He's getting emotional because he's proud of what his harvest has brought for him, and he's feeling how he can take it easy and just relax because he has so much. He has so much here on this earth. All right. Verse 20 says, "But the Most High said unto him, Thou fool, this night thy soul shall be required of thee. Then whose shall those things be which thou hast provided?" All right. And so because that, you can see that moment, his mind was not on the Most High. His mind was not being thankful for what the Most High had allowed him to bring forth, because that harvest came plentiful because the Lord allowed it to be that way. But he became prideful, and looked at what he had done and thought of only it being his accomplishment. And because he had harvested so well, he wanted to store up his goods that he had. All right, thinking only of himself. He wanted to be able to store all those things unto himself. All right, not thinking about how to build up his treasures in heaven. All right, so his mind had turned away from the Most High, from Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. All right, and the very last one I want to bring out is it's in the Apocrypha. Oh, you know what? I don't have the Apocrypha in this one. So I do have my Apocrypha with me, so I'm going to read from there. And we're going to go to Ecclesiasticus, or Sirach. And I want to go over to chapter 5. And I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, "Set not thy heart upon thy goods, and say not, I have enough for my life. Follow not thine own mind and thy strength to walk in the ways of thy heart. And say not, who shall control me for my works? For the Lord will surely revenge thy pride." And this is what you can see in this parable. In this parable, the man who wanted to build up his barn for all what the Lord had allowed his harvest to bring in for him. All right. It says, "Say not, I have sinned, and what harm hath happened unto me?" So as soon as you get a mindset as that, thinking that you can sin and get away with it, because nothing has happened to you at that moment, doesn't mean that it won't happen to you in the future. All right. It says, I'll start again at verse 4. Say not, I have sinned, and what harm hath happened unto me? For the Lord is long suffering. He will in no wise let thee go. Verse 5, concerning propitiation, be not without fear, and add sin unto sin. All right. And I want to look up, I'm going to go to Google and look up that word propitiation. And it says, and this is propitiation according to the Bible, from the AI overview. It says in the Bible, propitiation means to appease the Most High's wrath against sin through a sacrificial act. So that it refers to the Mashiach's death on the cross as a perfect sacrifice that satisfies the Most High's righteous anger, removes the offense of sin, and regains the favor of the Most High for humanity. This concept is deeply connected to atonement, but it specifically highlights the turning away of wrath. And you cannot forget the Most High. You cannot forget and turn your heart away. All right, because that is where you are able to repent, by turning toward the Most High, turning toward Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. All right, and keeping your heart aright. All right. But I'm going to go ahead and end that there. Like I said, that was on my mind because I'm seeing how emotional people and their reactions because of the way things are in the world right now. All right. And you have to remember that those evil thoughts, all right, can lead to you lashing out, can lead to you doing other things that'll lead to sinful behavior or sinful acts. All right. But I'm going to leave it there, and I pray that this has been edifying to the listener. I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodesh. Shalom.